People love to say that they hate drama. Oh, I don't do drama. I don't do drama. I stay out of it. I remember I used to say that all the time. But yet somehow those people, they can't, they can recount an entire conflict from 8 months ago. And they'll recount it with more emotional detail and inflection than a courtroom witness. So it's clearly not the drama that they hate. It's a version of the drama that when they don't come out looking good, that is what they despise. Because I feel, there's a cute little dog over here. Just sitting there all by himself. Poor little dude. He's so dirty. Maybe I'll show you. See the little guy? What people actually want isn't peace. They want a storyline. They want the beginning, the middle, the end to be positioned somewhere favorable inside the storyline. And you see that cute little guy? Anyway. They want to be positioned in that storyline, as the reasonable one, the patient one, the one that tried, hi cutie. They want to be the one that's, that tried everything before finally walking away. Nobody wants to tell the story where they're the villain. Everybody wants to be the good guy of the story. I need to walk away, otherwise I'm gonna give this little guy all the reason to attach to me, because I found that animals love me a lot. Not all, but they imprint on me very quickly. Anyway, I was talking about people, right? How nobody really wants to make themselves a villain of the story. Even people who clearly caused the entire mess themselves will somehow retell the whole story in a way that their actions make sense, where they were the one that were slighted, they were the one that were wrong, where everyone else did the wrong thing, and they just they're the victim of the story. This isn't a new thing either. It goes all the way back to Adam. Adam, the first man, right? He didn't just admit that he ate the fruit. He explained it. The woman that you gave to me, God, Eve didn't own it. She didn't own the problem either. She just said, oh, the serpent deceived me. Nobody in the story said, yep, I'm the problem. That's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I did that. That's on me. No. Everybody needs to make their version where their choice makes sense in the whole bigger story, where nothing was their own fault. This tells you that it's not a modern personality flaw. It's basically wired into people since the very beginning. Cain, one of Adam and Eve's kids, he did something similar. When he killed Abel, he killed his brother. He gets confronted by God. Instead of owning what happened, he starts defending and acting like the question is not fair. It's like, oh, am I my brother's keeper? Am I supposed to be watching out for my little brother? Even guilt gets wrapped in narrative instead of just sitting there plainly as guilt. I think that's a pattern that people keep repeating over and over again. Even now we have better vocabulary, nice lighting. Somebody gets called out for something messy that they did. Instead of giving a plain accounting of what happened, you get context, you get backstory, you get a whole justified arc of of them explaining their behavior. While it's not perfect, but it made sense to them given the circumstances. Meanwhile, the person in the other person in the story, It usually gets flattened into a one-dimensional villain type of character with no complexity at all, because complexity and context would ruin the narrative. This is why drama never actually dies down the way that people think it should once the truth comes out, because it's not really about the truth. It's about which narrative wins. Two people can experience the same thing, have the same conflict, and walk away with two completely different stories, both convinced that they're the reasonable one, convinced that the other person is the one that did the wrong thing, that the other person is the villain, the twisted one. That the other one manipulated and twisted all to their benefit. There's something really exhausting about this kind of energy. There's so much that goes into managing that perception instead of just being honest about the ugly truth, Because the ugly parts are where usually the actual growth starts to happen. Saul does this too later on. Saul in the Bible, the first king of Israel. He gets confronted by Samuel for disobeying a direct instruction from God. And instead of a clean admission, he gives this whole explanation about the people, the plunder, and how it's technically for a good reason, and always a good reason, right? Always it's like that. It's always for a good reason. It's always a version where obedience gets replaced with a well-reasoned excuse that sounds noble on the surface. I think that's kind of the real tell when ever somebody claims that they hate drama, but they keep constructing a very detailed, flattering narrative about themselves and about every conflict that they've ever been a part of. They're just avoiding I think they're not avoiding the mess, they're avoiding accountability. They're insisting on writing themselves as a misunderstood character, the main character inside of it. So I think that the healthier move, sometimes it's a harder thing to do. But if you're willing to tell the version where you don't always come out looking great, not just for the audience, not for anybody's perception, but even for yourself, the truth will set you free. Because the people who can actually do this, they tend to be the ones who can grow the fastest. While everybody else does, they stay stuck rewriting the same story over and over again until it finally sounds heroic enough for them to repeat out loud. So that's my opinion. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this.